Hello. Cool. Hello, guys. How are you? Hope everyone is keeping well, safe, away from the virus. Cool. Let's get into it. Welcome to 2D acting, your intro to 2D acting. I'm going to be taking you through some stuff that I go through when I am tasked with animating acting in a 2D shot. Okay. So you just got a shot assigned to you. What do you do? Like, what's the steps that you should be taking, right? So, step one, understand the logistical demands of your shot. So don't draw anything just yet. Consider first, like the basic things. What is your deadline for the shot? Okay? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 2 months? How many characters are in the shot? Is it 1? Is it 7? Let's say it's 7 and you only have 2 weeks. Do you understand? Consider such things. How long is the shot? The frame count of the shot. Is it 12 frames or is it 172 frames? How heavy is it on your computer? I know this seems like a very specific problem, but you will run into it more often than you think when you're doing 2D. Okay, the shots can get really heavy and you're gonna have to maybe work on a compressed, smaller version and then only use the big file for cleanup and exporting and finalizing. Okay. So, think before you act. See what I did there? So yes, guys, honestly, think about everything regarding your shot before you animate anything regarding your shot. Okay. Cool. Now, step 2. Understand the intention of the shot from your director. By that I mean you need to analyze the storyboard and the animatic, paying close attention to your shot's intention, your specific shot's intention, but also pay attention to the shots before and after yours for continuity and consistency. Make sense? So let's say this sequence is where your shot lives. It's in there. And this sequence is very melancholic. Okay. You need to be able to, through the acting of your shot, through the timing and spacing, the pacing of your shot, be able to fit your shot in this much bigger context. Okay? I know it might sound weird to some others, might actually click something in other people, but that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to match the continuity and the consistency of your shot, and then of the sequence, and then of your scene, and then of the film. You know what I'm saying? You're playing a very specific role in a much bigger vision. Cool. Now, the 4 ingredients to get great performance that I've been taught, and they work for me every time. So, if you open up any favorite animated piece of film that you feel that they nailed the character performance, and for me right now, since I watched Incredibles 2 yesterday, it's Dash, man. Oh, I love Dash's performance. I feel like I know that kid. He's so real. I love him, and they nail it. And in most cases, there's evidence of the animator or animation director considering like these 4 main ingredients to get that convincing character performance. And those are: who is this character? What is the character doing? How is the character feeling? And what is the character thinking? Okay. And out of all of those, if you are considering them, it means you know you have to show them in some way or form in your animation. So it already makes your work that much more professional. It just takes it up, another step. And continuously, if you go through these things when you're working on your animation, or even your character design, actually, because if it's about character, these are the things you should be considering anyway. Okay, and surprisingly enough, contradictions in these are really, really good for convincing action. By that I mean, the character is a 17-year-old girl. I don't like the story. Let's come up with something a bit more specific. A robot, cool. The character is a robot in a world full of humans, a little robot boy. What is the character doing? He is rummaging through a scrapyard looking for pots. How is the character feeling? He's happy because he likes the junkyard. What is the character thinking? he's sad because he's alone. Do you understand? Like already just this happy sad contradiction is gonna show such a cool original emotion in your character animation. Okay, I hope this is making sense. This is starting to what is it called? To demystify these things that you see in animation that you like, oh my god, how did they do that? This is how you start. Okay, cool. Now to get these answers, you start with the show's most useful assets, which are the script, surprise surprise, the storyboard, animatic to keep consistent, and the character bios, anything that's been written about the character. This gives you sorry, privy to information only you can know as a filmmaker, but you would like to suggest when you're making the film to the viewers, right? Cool. Now, step 3. Which character is performing? You need to get familiar with the character's development work and animation rules that are set out by a director. By that I mean copy all the approved designs, model sheets, and pose sheets, guys. Like, you can't get around this. You can't wait. It needs red. It needs red. Go to red. Yeah, you can't get around this. Okay, you have to copy everything that's been approved in terms of design, model sheets, pose sheets, in order to get familiar with whichever character or characters that you're dealing with in your shot. You have to understand everything about the necessary assets for your shot. Okay, you have to draw a lot. There's no way around this part. Okay, so once you have gotten familiar with your character work, you thumbnail the idea for your desired acting of your shot. Since you know these answers and you know the intention that your director is aiming for, thumbnail your idea for the desired acting of your shot. Okay, don't watch reference and copy what they do. Thumbnail it first. I'm gonna be going through a shot from the cave's mouth and from Hovers, and you'll see what I mean about all these things. I thumbnail before I shoot my reference. Okay, so you must note that we did a lot of work before we even started putting pencil to paper. This is like step 4, where you start to thumbnail. So this concept is presented by Ed Hooks in his book Acting for Animators, or it's in another book called Directing for Animation by Tom Bancroft. I'll check. I'll find it and scan it. But either way, if it's in Acting for Animators, I know Jeannie and or Bokang have both put Acting for Animators available as a PDF for you guys, so go read it. Anyway, this book is amazing. If it's in the other one, I will scan and send it to everyone. But yes, it's an amazing concept about the Thursday animator. You should be getting a little clue as to what the Thursday animator is about after going through these steps. Cool. Step 5, then you start to shoot your reference. So note that we thumbnail first because we need to know what we want from our performance. Okay, then we shoot reference based off our idea. We don't shoot reference to get the idea. Okay, this is how you're gonna have good animation work. This is how you're gonna have some really specific stuff happening in your shot. The stuff that you see in other animation where you are like, how did they do that? By thinking. That's the short answer. So don't shoot reference hoping to get a good performance out of it. Plan and be specific with your reference. This is what I just spoke about. Just to reiterate. Okay. Step 6. Prepare your scene. Whoop whoop. So you should receive a master file for your shot. This, you make a copy immediately and rename it according to the show's naming convention. This is important. So in my case, it's named C0140 _ master TVPP. That's a TVP format. And this is from the cave's mouth. That's the shot I'll be doing a bit later. So that's the shot originally. And then my first copy, as soon as I receive it, is CVV _ V01. And then 2, 3, blah, 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 blah. If this is the naming convention of my show, I don't know yet. So I'm going with what I can keep track of. Cool. So get familiar with your shot. Prepare your scene. After you make the first copy, just probe around a little bit, man. What are the layout demands of your shot? Are there any camera moves? Get familiar with everything about your shot. What's the camera size? I mean, the frame count. Is the camera locked or not? Is it, So things like that, where you know what's happening in the background without having to worry about it. Okay? Because I find that if I receive a shot, I'm going to make an example so you guys understand why it's very important to get familiar with the housekeeping of your shot. If I receive a shot from another person who's set up my cameras for me and the camera's not locked and I don't know that, and I just animate and I move the camera a little bit, but I don't realize that I moved the camera. Do you understand that the camera has changed? It's such a big implication for such a rookie move of not getting to understand and know the housekeeping of your shot. So know your housekeeping. Cool. Here's some stuff I want to clear up. I've heard you guys talk and you sort of mix and match these terms. So, one, the keyframe, breakdown, and in between, they live in this column, which is the stage or the level you are within your shot. Okay? And then on this side, you have the treatment, or what I call the finish, which is it a thumbnailing or planning stage? Is it a rough? Is it a tie down, a clean up color, or it's in shadow and light? Any one of these could get any one of this applied to it. You understand what I mean? You could be on the same shot, be on keyframes, which are shadow and light, which is really, it means they've got all of this applied to them, but the breakdowns are still in tie down. And then the in-betweens are still rough. This happens. So get specific with your terms, because when people say I did the roughs of what? Of the keyframe, breakdowns, in-betweens, is it straight ahead? Okay? So the keyframe, breakdown, and in-between, it describes the stage of animation you're on. Whereas the thumbnail, rough, tie-down, cleanup, color, shadow, and light describes the level of treatment you are on. Don't confuse these two category of terms, please. Okay, it will make communication between the whole team better, especially seeing now that communication has to happen digitally. Okay, cool. Let's animate, guys. Whoop whoop. So I think I'm gonna pause there and I will record part 2. So this is the shot that I'm going to be taking you guys through. It's the tie downs of the keys and the breakdowns. There's still space for in-betweens, as it's mostly done on 3s, some 2s, and some 4s. So we'll be going through the entire process for the shot, from thumbnailing to the tie downs that you have here. Okay, let's go. Cool. So I just got my shot, and I will open it. C140 master. Okay. Before I do anything, I'm just gonna say project as, and that's the one I will probe around. V01, as I said. Okay, save it in the same location. Saved, make sure. Cool. Cool. So there's a little camera move. A pan out. All the actions from the animatic are there. The shot is 41, but it starts at 42 frames. It lasts for 42 frames. This is 1. This is 0. Camera. Let's see if the camera's been locked, so I can't mess around with it. Cool. Pretty straightforward shot. Okay. So I'm familiar with the character, I'm familiar with the acting. And I've made my notes before this, of course, Thursday animator vibes. And I will talk you through those in a bit. But let's speak about analyzing the layout, so you guys understand what I mean by that. And analyzing the layout of the shot. The most important layouts for animations are the ones where the character, I'm speaking environment layout, where the character is interacting with the environment. So with this shot, I don't need a finalized layout in order to start, like the cave is like that, maybe it leads to the opening, and the character is in the foreground kneeling. They do not interact. I do not need a finalized version of the layout, so I can start and probably maybe just draw my own little graph grid like that, because you do need perspective, guys. Or use a existing one from the animatic, just screen grab and bring it in here, so there's a cave with a direction in my shot. Make sense? Whereas if there is one of these and the character running and climbing and running again, it's such a specific environment layout that it almost needs to be finalized before the animator can even start planning their keys. Okay, so in this kind of instance, it is very important to have your environment layout finalized before you can start. Okay, so look at things like that. Cool. So let's say I have I'm giving myself 2 hours to do this, but let's say the 2 hours equals 2 days. Okay, so you have 2 days. Woo, yeah. But I'm gonna go through the whole shot, just doing the roughs. Remember, the treatment of it is gonna be rough to in between phase. Okay, and I can share this file with you guys, of course. I'll put it on the drive and Jeannie can, yeah, take it from there. Cool. So with the animatic, I'm seeing that there are 4 main actions here. So there's four. Cool. There are 4 main actions in the animatic. Cool. You see, the animatic is just describing what they're doing. Now I can put character in this, because no one looks like this when they're packing something away. They have a minimum of those 4 things that I was speaking about going through them at any given time. And imagine this, such an emotional time for this family where they have to leave their cave. And the grandfather is, keeps talking about his son, who will definitely one day come back home. Okay, so the context of the shot is, it's not a very happy setting. Okay, so I've gone and done a few thumbnails on paper. I'll just do them here quickly. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope. Stop it. Cool. So that pose is like that. Head is there, and loop, 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 hand. So I want her to be absent-mindedly looking around, so she looks to the right, notices something. Up. My smooth. Why are you on? That didn't undo that, right? Yeah. So she notices one of the things she's packing up. She's still there, holding bag. And then she glances elsewhere to notice something else. Like she's she's in the process of making a quick decision, like a micro decision of what to pick up first. Okay, and then she makes that quick decision in this pose, and that is to fetch that one. So she leans over, holding bag. When she comes back, it's a small bowl. I know the animatic has like some sticks or something. Yeah, I'm taking liberties. I'm the animator. It's a small bowl. The bag is still there. You see how rough I'm being, guys? It doesn't even look like anything, but I know what it means. And now you have an idea of what it means. So she takes the bowl and she blows into it, like whoosh, blows into bowl, and dust, dust comes out of the bowl, like a little bit of speckles of dust, and she blinks away while putting it in the bag. No, bag. She must, well, at least hand must go in bag. Bag, hand. And she blinks away the dust. And when we cut, she's gonna be still looking in that direction. I think, I'm still not sure, still looking in that direction at something else. Maybe the original asset that she was looking at before she picked up the ball, or something else. Just so it's not so repetitive, like it doesn't feel like we went and then again. Make sense? So there's a beginning, a middle, and an end to even the acting. So something else. See, guys, please note that I'm just getting to know what I want. It might not work out. It might work out better that it actually ends with her facing back in that direction with the bag there, But I have an idea of what I want. And this is what I'm going to be shooting my reference on. Okay. Now, the next thing that plagued me is that my shot is only 42 frames long. Is it possible to have all of these in 42 frames? To have all of this represented, let me just hold it. I think so. If not, I speak to the director asking for more frames and we'll get a decision from there. If it's too many actions to fit within the time frame and I can't get more frames added, then I have to get rid of some actions. That's the reality of it. It's your job. This is part of your job. Okay. Cool. So now I've got my thumbnails. There they are. I'm gonna put none. I'm gonna put them to 1. I don't wanna see them. Bloop, bloop, bloop. So I generally don't like, like even in the studio, we don't trace. We copy, we don't trace. So I don't like tracing, but this is the animatic and this is what the composition that Genie has gone for. Okay, so I have to respect that, like overtly so. So what I do for that is I copy these. That's what I'm gonna do. Then I'm gonna go to eraser just to make my life easy. When I click, it makes a new instance. When I click the eraser, I'm erasing nothing. I'm on an empty layer, so I'm just making myself new instances with the existing poses. Okay, cool. Let me digress a little bit, guys. If you hit Control K, your keyboard shortcuts are gonna come up. Okay, so I've set mine A to layer go left. If you don't know where to find these things, you literally type layer go left there. It'll find it and show you, and you can attach it to whatever key you want by assigning it. So A is my layer go left, which goes frame by frame left, and then F is my layer go right, which goes frame by frame right. Then G is layer exposure go to previous instance, which means from here it'll hop to there, the beginning of each instance. and then H is my go to next instance, which will make it go to the next instance. Okay, I've shown you guys this before. Make it your friend, make it work for you. We are all very familiar with Photoshop, and all our softwares, drawing wise, tend to want to resemble Photoshop. So don't fight it, do it. Okay, B is my brush, E is a paint oil that I've set to erase. You remember all of these steps. Okay, I'm done digressing. Cool, so I trace these. It's too dark. It's too bright. You see, guys, so while I'm doing this, I am remembering the model sheets that I've been copying. And because I'm familiar with the character design, I'm just trying to see how the actual character, can fit in here. With something like this, since we are all aware that I've made the decision to make it a little bowl, it has to be a bowl. So I'll just leave it empty for now. I'll come back to it. And she puts it away. So I'm gonna get rid of this. I don't need it anymore. I've got all the information I need right here. You see, I'm already starting to take steps of autonomy, decision-making things, which is why it's really important to merge and delete when you're designing, when you're animating. Merge and delete so you can move on, So those two actions are very important, merging and deleting. Cool. You know what I'm gonna do? Because my recorder is only set to TV Paint, I'll be a smart man, so I can keep referencing this and telling you guys about it. Cool. Haha. So this can go. Cool. Yeah, you guys saw what I did. I just made a gray thing. It's at 27% because white is too harsh on the eyes. Cool, so play it out. Let's see. Okay. Put opacity down. I start anew. At this stage, I know I'm a stiffler for naming, but at this stage I'm not yet. Because I don't even have my roughs down, I don't even have my basic actions down. So use your time wisely. Don't name things you know you're gonna delete. I know I'm gonna delete this in about 3 minutes. Okay. Cool. So wanted to notice something. So it starts with her hand in the bag, like she was already putting something in there, of course. We don't want our character to feel like someone yelled action and then they started moving. Okay. So it starts with the hand in the bag. You see, because I forgot to put my layout, my grid lines, I'm already not quite sure if the character should be more front or more side. You see, this is why I need the background. Not the background, the vanishing point. It's always important in the vanishing point. I will be speaking about this a lot with the hovers shot as well. But the vanishing point is extremely important. Let me try get a picture from the animatic. Let's say BG snap. Okay. Ooh, import. What? Why would you do that? Okay. We copy it and we go to my shot. Let's make a new. You can make a static image if you want. It just knows to hold. And I paste it. Oh, it's too big. But because I know there's a camera move, let me increase it a little bit. Let's take it underneath there. Bring this up. Okay, go away for now. No one needs you. No, let's make the cave bigger. You see, that cave already has a good direction to it. Where am I? I'm here. Because the camera is looking up, mustn't forget that. So because the camera is looking up, you must see more of the top. Enter. Let's see. Yeah, that works for our purposes. Perfect. We will call that BG. It this color, close, lock. Nice. Now we have an idea of what we're doing. We'll even make it a bit lighter. It's too much information. Cool. Take visibility down. Even lower. Yeah, we'll go with red. Cool. So I've got both X and View open, and with the mother-daughter model sheet, and I've got keyframe MP open with my reference playing on loop. Cool. Just making sure everything is in order. There we go. So I'm not going to be trying to draw her on model just yet, but I want to be alluding to the shapes better. Do you understand? The mother's character design is not like this. It's a diamond. We're all familiar with that. So with my reference, which you have seen by now, I realized that that shoulder would be higher. This one lower. Remember, this is what I'm looking for, the noticing. Oh, putain, it was a static image. I was so confused. Okay, cool. So I'm watching my reference over and over. Did you guys realize what that was? So because I was going from a static image doesn't need an extension like an animation image does, you see. Okay, so just a note. So I wanted to notice quick decision, reach, blow, blink away, move on as the shot ends. And I can see that in my reference already for this pose, because we wanted to start already doing the packing. She mustn't just be waiting. And my reference, which was shot in a similar upward angle, I realized that we see more of this kind of perspective. Have to test it out. But the bag is of course still the focal point of the shot, so I won't change that. And this shoulder is more down. It's more like that. I will round that shoulder off a bit more. Like that. There we go. Cool. Next action, notice. I want her to notice the other thing that she's gonna pick up, which in this case is gonna be, what is that? Like a small bowl thing, yeah? You see, so this is where my reference is coming in useful, where I'm seeing things like this, that the perspective from here to here has changed so drastically because of the angle of the camera. And to push it, I would probably make that head smaller. There we go. That's feeling a bit better. And I can already see from my reference that there is some counterbalancing happening. So because the force was going this way when she's putting the thing in the bag, when she leans back to look at that direction, there's counterbalancing in this hand. It comes over here. As the shoulder drops, that happens, boop, boop. You see, right now I'm animating a feeling. I do not want to get bogged down in details, so I don't use the, what is that thing? The onion skin lightbox feature just yet. Actually use that much later. That shoulder was too high. Notices. Quick decision, looking away. I'm just spacing them 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 to get, just the drawings out. want to drop her shoulder a bit more. Yes. And then we come back to this pose where she's leaning for it. Let's say it's like here, you see, hence she gets bigger. So she's sort of reaching around. Make sense? Cool. Sorry. Yeah, but even with this action, that counterbalance is still happening. She's leaning that way now, so, you know, probably even take it back a little bit more. No. So we wanted to blow in the little bowl that she got. I'll switch this off, put this light skin on, because I wanted to blow here. Blow. That equals blow. In the bowl, with the handies holding it. Maybe the bag will be in the way, we'll see. You see, you also have to be thinking composition, screen time, all that stuff, because you want it to be visible that she's blowing in the bowl. Now this flap is in the way. We'll solve it later, but we understand what we want, and I'll draw through just in case I need that information later. We want it to blow, blink away the dust, because she didn't expect there to be dust apparently, but there was. You go off. So let's see, is there a pose? Just to keep consistency, she blows. I will take this one and put it there. Okay, so I'm showing you the little tips and tricks that I have. You see, so I just made it 2 frames so I could draw, and then it shatters the last frame. And then I clear this one to get the onion skin, but I don't want to see before. I want to see after. And not that much of after. Because it is a different action. I wanted to still be holding it, the bowl. While she's blinking away. Maybe that's too extreme, but we'll see. Puts it back, and then we cut with her looking to something else. We'll take that pose. That 5. Cool. So, multiple problems. Too fast, too many actions. Camera not framed well enough for my character. You see, and all of this we discovered in the first 7 to 10 minutes of being comfortable with pushing the shot around and, you know, treating it like clay. Cool. So, First solution. This is too long, especially when I know that the animatic cuts on this action. Okay, so I'm gonna give that 4 frames. Just gonna extend their frame count little by little so they all have a similar amount of time on screen. We don't need that much of you, and let's see. Better, but too energetic. Remember, the mood we're going for is that melancholic feeling. Okay. Better, but too fast. Too snappy. So, I'm gonna do 2 things right now. Firstly, the camera is really bothering me. It's too big, but also, it's too small, but also my character could be just too big. So I select the entire thing, scale it all down, hit enter. And let's see. And as you can see, guys, I'm just trying to generate my keyframes from this, from from the, excuse me, from the animatic and from my acting reference. Trying to generate my keyframes. Sesatu. This guy is no longer applicable. But in case you get your changes back and they do not agree with your direction, that's why we say versions. Because here we delete here. We don't just keep things for the sake of keeping it. Cool, so I've just shrunk the character a little bit and that's working a bit better. I'll be fine with that. For this iteration, I'm going to extend my shot. That's happening. So I'll go 8 with this action. Quick decision. I'll go 10 there. 6 is fine. Yes. Let's go 8 and 5. Play. That's feeling better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I've added 19 frames, and I will have to let that be known that I've added 19 frames to this. Does it work or does it not? But another thing that I'm noticing that could save us a lot of time actually is if after she comes out of the bag, she goes into this pose where she's looking sort of at lower, let me draw that arrow better, sort of there, do you understand? And then she goes into this one and then into this one. Okay, I know I'm just rambling, so I will do it and you will see. So we go to that one, we go to this one, we don't go back to that one, this one goes away. Let's see how that works. Wait, what? Why is it not? There we go. the blink has to last a bit longer. We'll go 12 with that. Okay. Cool. How far are we? Okay. So, I'm gonna speak about a few more concepts before I stop my voice recording because I can't keep track of what I've said last to you and what I'm doing and what I'm repeating, you know. Okay. So, I will put an image mark here just to show that that is where the shot ended, and this is the extra that I've had to do to make my shot convincing. When you send through the roughs of your keyframes, because remember, we're all just trying to generate keyframes here. When you send through the roughs of your keyframes, say I've added this much, does it work or not? So you don't have to keep wasting time and animate on something that doesn't work. Okay. Secondly, this is where this brings us. Always animate off camera, because you never know that the camera might need to grow just that much and then you've stopped there. Do you understand? Animate off camera. It'll also keep your characters grounded and get you out of laziness and thinking about what actually the camera is. It is looking at an action. Okay, so if you just get bogged down with drawing what's in the camera all the time without considering what's outside of the camera, you might make some mistakes, and then things like this might happen where you've seen it in some animations where it clips on screen. Okay, things fall through the cracks, man. They always tend to. So be as diligent as possible. Cool. So I'm gonna stop my voice recording, but I will speed up the workflow video by maybe 50%, so it's playing at twice the speed, and you can watch me go through it, and I will be back later when I'm almost done with I'll just do the roughs. I'm not getting too tied down. We can do that with another session. Right now I'm just trying to introduce you guys to how to extract acting from your reference, how to plan, and how to deliver a good product on time. Okay? Cool. Okay, guys. So here we are. She picks up the bowl, blows into it, oozes away, shakes it out once, and puts it in the bag. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this acting, and this is a good place for me to start. So everything that we do before, all the planning, all the thumbnailing, and shooting a reference, and then extracting what you want from that reference, is to get you to a point where the roughs of your keyframes like this are resembling what you wanted initially. Okay, there'll be surprises; those are happy accidents, of course, but this is a good place for me to start now. Okay, cool. So I'm happy with the bones of my character's acting. I'm gonna follow animation rules with the next iteration, which means all the stuff that the show from the cave's mouth has set as rules, how the eye works, how perspective works, how deforming the character in 3D works. So also while I'm still doing that, I'm gonna be getting closer to on-model keyframes, which includes expressions. It's at this point I introduce time charts into my shot. This is when my keys and breakdowns are on model. So this will make in-betweening much easier and clearer. Okay. So let's play it a few more times. So all the actions that I wanted are happening, as I said. She picks it up, she blows into it, and puts it in the bag. But if you'll notice, a lot of the other actions have been taken away because they were unnecessary. Okay. And I understand that I'm pushing the boundaries here with extending the shot. It's twice as long, but yeah, I'm taking the liberty. Just to, for the purpose of the demo. And I've okayed it with Genie, of course. And cool. So she picks it up, blows into it, away like what the hell, bruh. Shakes it out once and shoves it in the bag. Okay. So I decided to cut those shots out because it was those actions out of this shot because it was making it too long and she had to accomplish too much. And the shot's intention is simple and I mustn't forget that. So I went back to the intention, killed my darlings, and got rid of a lot of the other poses, which were working at the time. But the point of animation is so. What did Fred? There's this professor from Paris that taught us once. He said, animation is very particular an endeavor, and if you can't do it again, then you're not an animator. So you can't do it by chance and call yourself an animator. If you can't do it again, then you're not an animator. That hit hard. Alas. So with the next iteration of my animation, I'm gonna be reining in these actions, okay? Because for the purposes of informing my animator mind what to do next, I had to push them like this, where she shakes it. So with the next iteration, I'm gonna be reining them in a little bit more. So this action, instead of coming from the elbow and a little bit of the shoulder, is gonna come from a little bit of the elbow and mostly the wrist. So it's gonna be a smaller whipping action and a smaller anticipation, maybe with the elbow down instead of up like that, because these actions don't match the intention of the shot, but I needed them to tell me what I was thinking. This is an anticipation. That's all it tells me. And I remember what I was thinking because, I planned. I didn't just jump in. Okay, there's a lot of stuff to remember, so you can't be that hard on your brain. You have to write notes. I've got a notebook right now. I always have a notebook or paper around me, paper on the wall. Follow your system that works for you. Cool. So yes, as I was saying, with the next iteration, I'm going to be reining in a lot of these, so it's more somber. It more fits the intention of the shot. Okay, all the while also introducing expressions. As I said, more on model. So yes, sir. Okay, so I'm gonna speed it up a little bit more again and see you on the other side, guys. Whoop, whoop.